Each news time, information is power. The current, the news headline. Breaking: Biafra, wife of BNG's commander, Chidima Oji, orders. The news in full. Reports that the wife of the Biafra National Guard commander, Chidima Oji, has regained freedom after years in detention. The newsman learned. Mrs. Oji was released along with 18 other people who had been detained for about 15 years now. BNG is one of the organizations fighting for the Biafra's independence. Also, there is a news that the IPOB leader through the IPOB itself, administration, that is their DOS, has declared war on Ikmori, says that it belongs to Almajiris. The indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, has declared war of an methamphetamine, also known as Unkpuru Imiri, among youth in the southeast region. The indigenous people of Biafra allege that the Department of State Services, DSS, is behind the distribution of the drug in the north and would not allow such in Igbo land. According to IPOB, those selling the drug and consumers should actually be dealt with. IPOB stated this via a statement by its spokesperson, Emma Powerful, which was obtained by the Night News Nigeria. The statement read, "We, the global movement and family of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, note with utter displeasure a very ugly and disturbing trend among youth in the Biafra land, who have resulted to the consumption of a destructive hard drug, methamphetamine, popularly known as Unkpuru Mary. This development is very strange and completely unacceptable. It is this same hard drug that renders Almajiris and the North useless, and we won't allow this madness to creep in or fester among Biafran youth. We observe how DSS is using Unkpuru Imiri to create many problems among the North that metamorphosed into the Almajiri and supporter of the APC in the North. We won't allow that to happen here in the region. So, we encourage every community to have departments to checkmate those selling and taking Unkpuru Imiri. The DSS wants to render many of our youth useless. The IPOB must checkmate them, and they will not succeed. The DSS is enemy of our youth. Communities must ensure that they report those involved in this madness to the IPOB office for proper torturing, because we don't want this in our territory. The IPOB hereby declares war against this nonsense. We shall go after those taking or distributing this harmful illicit drug. Henceforth, anyone found peddling, consuming, or in any way involved in the distribution of this illicit drug shall be decisively dealt with. Biafran youths are known for their enterprising spirit, entrepreneurship, and diligence. The IPOB will allow evil men and unpatriotic elements to ruin the future of our youth with Unkpuru Imiri not. While we commend communities which have already risen to curb this evil, we solicit for more useful information about those behind the distribution of this illicit drug, so that we will teach them in the very language that they understand." And this is the warning of the indigenous people of Biafra after the release of the wife of the BNG commander, Chidima, and 18 others, saying that the drug Unkpuru Imiri, methamphetamine hydrochloride, which is called Unkpuru Imiri in the Igbo language, or in the Igbo land, or crystal meth or ice in some part of Lagos State, says that this is very dangerous to the health of the youth, especially now that the few that the DSS are trying to render the youth useless so that they cannot agitate for their rights, saying that this comes clear in crystal chunks or shiny blue white rocks. And this new dangerous drug, as reported by the NDLEA, is already sending many Nigerians to their early graves. Unkpuru Imiri is a very addictive stimulant drug. It is a powder that can be made into a pill or a shiny rock called a crystal. The powder can be eaten or snorted up the nose. It can also be mixed with liquid and injected into your body with a needle. Crystal meth is smoked in a small glass pipe. Meth at the first causes a rush of good feelings, but then users feel edgy, overly excited, angry, or afraid, and meth use can quickly lead to addiction. To my never-ending heartbreak, reliable sources such as Wikipedia Health, NDLA Health websites, and health magazines have given quite the education about this deadly drug. As recently learned, says that they can now see random persons in a store and recognize if they are tweaking, which is the name for the behavior when someone is very high on meth. The first things you might notice, even if the person is not using a lot, is that the meth user doesn't sleep and they don't eat. If they are trying to cover it up, they might accept food that you give them, but you will start noticing that it gets left unfinished or thrown away eventually. They might pretend to go to bed, but you will discover the next morning that they are up. Maybe they will claim they woke up early, when actually they haven't slept at all. And this can stretch for days. But the real indicators of someone who just shot a large amount of meth is that they can be ejected and very agitated movement. They couldn't sit even if their life depended on it, and jerky flailing movements of the arms and legs. Saying that if they actually smoking this crystal meth, white in color and rocky, terribly chapped lips in the worst horrible mouth ulcers. That is, the teeth thing is a bit of a stereotype and not something that would show right away. The mouth sores happen quickly through. Illegal forms of the drug can be smoked, snorted, injected, or ingested orally. This is why the indigenous people of Biafra are actually of the opinion that the youth have to quickly quit this Nkpuru Emiri, as called in their language, saying that they must have a plan for their idle time to keep them occupied and focused on something productive, saying that they must not lose the contact of people who use and avoid. They must lose the contact of people who use and avoid the places frequently used by every person who could enable them, saying that they need to stop doing anything that might cloud their judgment and cause them to rationalize using such as alcohol. Proper sleep and nutrition will go a long way, and these things take this from them and would actually cause more havoc than good to every users of this, saying that the message is very clear: to try to find someone with values that they can admire and be very close to, and first to learn to love themselves, that they are worthy and deserve the opportunities that could otherwise be missed while using the drug, saying that Nkpuru Imiri might, the use of Nkpuru Imiri would actually